I mentioned the Kasure, how Buddha doesn't have hallucination. It's very important to understand. We have hallucination. Buddha doesn't have hallucination. Why? So the even negative Kasure, subtle negative imprint is totally purified. Buddha doesn't have at all obscuration, even subtle obscuration, subtle negative imprint. So that's why there's nothing for us. We have the gross negative imprint. So that projects to decorate the hallucination, and with beside eye on all the phenomena, which the mind merely imputed on that first second, then second, split second. Then you see when it appears to us, then it doesn't appear to us merely level by mind what happened the first second, split second. So then say our negative imprint grows in negative imprint left by the ignorance from beginningless rebirth. So decorate or project hallucination, that exists from its own side. It truly exists it is truly existent, or by using everyday our language, real. Real means from its own side. Real. So it decorate, project the hallucination. So the I meant real, which is mere level Lama, exists in mere name, in reality, so unbelievable subtle. But you see, something to appear to us real from there. Oh, so that's hallucination. So like that, you see. So like that, so that like that. Not only aggregates, and then form, whatever form appears to us, lights, all that is, whatever form appears, is everything appears real. Those colors, those colors of preflex, so everything appears real from there. All this hallucination projected by negative imprint, left by ignorance from beginningless rebirth. So the hallucination, so it's created hallucination. Form, sound, whatever sound appear, real from there. Form, sound, smell, the smell from object, side smell. You see, whatever smell is, a good smell, bad smell. So from its own side. All things are just like the eye, but depending on the world best, I guess. Then mind focus on that, merely in between eye, and met the eye like this. But so same thing with the sound, the smell, all that form, sound, smell, taste, tangible, all that. So all things merely in between by the mind. First, second, split second, then it appears back then. It's a negative imprint, projected, decorated, hallucination. There's a real smell, real sound, sound, real smell, all like that. You see, and then it has real touch, recta. You know, the soft or rough or the touch of object or the senses of the body, the object, the touch, soft or light, soft or rough, from its own side. Yes, there's a soft and rough exists, but it's merely imputed by the mind. by mere level, by mind, it exists. But real one from that do not exist. That's hallucination. That we create everything, form, sound, smell, taste, and whatever. So the mind, also the perceiver, mind perceiving, perceiver is the person perceiving mind. That also that's also created by the mind. The Eugene, you the object. Yulchen is the Yulchen who has the object. That's the mind. Yulchen, both can yes, first it's merely labeled by the mind. Focus on the body base. So then, split second, then when they appear back as well. Then, as the project generated by the this is the hallucination that exists from the society and the real. So hallucinated, you see, sort of that whole thing. But Buddha doesn't have it. Buddha, that totally sees the negative imprint which projects hallucination. The Buddha doesn't have that, but purified. Even doesn't have subtle negative imprint. So now the next one is like the people. It's like the people whose eye is not illusioned by the musician person. So there's no hallucination. Therefore, the person doesn't have it. So the next person, the musician person himself, example, the people who know this is an illusion, whose eyes is illusioned by the musician person or even himself, but he know, you see, there's an illusion, so he knows it's not true. And also among the people, among the perceivers, among the audience, who knows that they know it's not real because it's the musician person or the mantras or the substances, the metta, this hallucination. So audience or musician person who it has appearance, but do not believe. They do realize that it's not true. So like that, the Arya beings, Bodhisattvas, Arahatas, Arya beings, Bodhisattvas, Arya being Bodhisattva, the Arahatas, they who has direct perception of emptiness, So they realize, so just like musician person, the audience who know this is hallucination, this is created by the musician person. So it's like the people who recognize the dream. Most people, there are people who especially practice Tantra, even who don't practice Tantra, so there are people who recognize the dream is dream. When they're dreaming, they recognize that it's dream, and they know it's hallucination, not true. So similar like that, those who have direct perception, those are exalted beings, and so whatever appear to them, things appear truly existent. Things appear to them, what appear to them, they appear form, sound, smell, taste, and whatever, and like the eye appear truly existent from the object side, real from the object side. But at the same time, they know it's not true. They know it's a total hallucination. They know it's not true. Like the musician person, he has all the hallucination, but he knows it's not true. that the audience will know is illusion and not true. Like that, you see. Like as I mentioned, people who recognize the dream. Oh, like that, you see. The who don't recognize the dream, they think, but they believe 100% real. Only they would know it's not real after they wake up. So it's like that. Like that, you see. So I'm giving example for the person who have a direct perception of emptiness. So that, so then also they would realize the emptiness, you know. So similar with that. First realizing absolute truth, true truth, absolute truth, and of the I or the phenomena. And then later, as a result, then realize conventional truth, kunzaki dhamma, Buddha dhamma. So truth for the all-obscure mind. So they got then they realize that. So by realizing ultimate truth, you see what appears real from there, the realizing that totally do not exist from itself. That's a total non-existence. That one is what we normally believe. That I in that from sound simultaneously, nothing, even the atom, nothing exists from the other side. So you realize emptiness. Then you see first that, then that is the cause, the result, and then you see, then I exists. How? Exists in me and them. Exists in the me and them. So conventional truth, that is the understanding, realizing conventional truth. So true truth of the I is realized. So like that, all the rest of phenomena. So by realizing absolute ultimate truth, then that causes to realize the conventional truth. So like just like I explained the I, so like that, you see. So then you see things as illusion, not real. Things as illusion, as dream. Like this, you see, there are many examples. Things as hallucination. You see, hallucination is like illusion. So I do that. I gave the meditation. You see the ignorance, our ignorance, holding truth existence, the real phenomena, the real, which is not real, but they appear real, then believe in real. So the ignorance is like the magician person. Your ignorance is like magician person. So you see, your hallucination, you see everything appears real. You are hallucinating, you have hallucination at your house, wherever you go, outside, inside, wherever you go, that's hallucination. Whole life is hallucination. From this morning to night, hallucination. You see, yeah, you are in your room or you go outside, whatever you go, hallucination. So from birth until death, hallucination, you live in hallucination. Just like watching movie, it's like watching TV. So, is it watching TV? I mean, watching TV of your karma. Watching TV, it's like watching TV, but this is TV of your karma. Your karma, creation of your mind, and watching what you are ignorant created, including the I, including your mind, including all the form, sound, smell, taste, or everything, what your ignorance created. So everything real appear real and believe real, or So you live the life in hallucination. You live the life totally in hallucination. So that's really from birth to death. Oh, kind of yeah, so that's what from birth going to kindergarten, birth, you have the parents, and then you have the brothers, and all the family. Then you have go to kindergarten, you go to primary school, college, university. Then okay, what you do with the marriage and the 100 children, so you make it. Then whatever. Then how many husbands, how many wives, and then all then the whether you become president of the country or whatever. So until die, including I'm dying now. So from birth, everything is there. So everything is there. This is something, everything real. Oh, this includes the eye real. Oh, everything real. That living in hallucination, living total hallucination. All the practice mindfulness in this. Oh, that's meditation and emptiness. Oh, you have to know that. Practice mindfulness in this of life. That's like watching TV of your life. No, what's created by your ignorance, projected. Most important, the most important, the awareness, mindfulness. Most important mindfulness. Then you don't get cheated. You don't get cheated. Otherwise, you see, it's like false money. Somebody, musician person, I heard in Delhi, sometimes the musician person transform false money, give the people. Then when they arrived home, there's no money. So it's like that. So as I mentioned yesterday, after you realize the emptiness, all this is not there. All this, what you believe, what has been appearing to you, or you believe all the time. Oh, they're not there, including the I, the real I, not there. When you realize, see emptiness, ultimate truth, or truth of the phenomena, then this, or then this, or then you come to, like a person, recognize the dream, like that. Appear, but it's not true, it's not there. After you realize emptiness, then you see what we believe reality, what we believe real, also hallucination. Not there. Then you see on the basis of that, then we get attachment, anger, jealous, all this delusionized on the basis of ignorance, on the basis of the hallucination. Everything appears real, then all the delusionized. So all the suffering, all the, and the cause of suffering, but the suffering, all the confusion, all the problems, life, rest, on the basis of the hallucination. That's how your mind creates suffering. The ignorance, your ignorance creates suffering. That's why you need to eliminate this ignorance. So that's why starting emptiness, so important in Buddhism. Not only because just because you don't like suffering, so that's what you should do. If you don't like suffering, sometimes, you see, this is what you have to do. What you should do. Must learn as much as possible from the world qualified teacher, the special experienced teacher. So the meditation. So not only intellectual learning, but you see, practice everyday life, practice mindfulness in this everyday life. So therefore, there's nothing that should cheat you. You see? Otherwise, because you're believing in the real as it appeared, then that cheat you. Your concept cheat you, deceive you. So your ignorance. Oh, so the other way to realize the emptiness of that. You see, even though there's appearance of hallucination, but it's not real. There's nothing there, not even the atom. See, all that, there's nothing to teach you. So that. So Kachari, I didn't finish at 3 a.m. Then for us, for like myself, then, or the things like the audience who don't know that musician person transformed, created all these hallucinations, doesn't know, who believe real, whatever appeared is real. So you see, like myself, I guess, whatever appeared to something appeared, nothing appeared real, then believe is true, it's true. So that we create the wrong concept. So you see, whenever I appear to real, then you believe it's real, or that concept. That you see, thinking that's true, or that concept is the root of samsara. Oh, that's ignorance. That how you are creating samsara is like, how you are creating root of samsara is like